Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inside the SFCBL. My name is Jake Kelly. We are here with our fourth guest and arguably our most important guest, El Jefe, the commissioner of the SFCBL, Nick Presto. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jacob. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, you've done a lot in your baseball life. Yeah, you played baseball at Jupiter High School in the '90s, FAU baseball, drafted in the fifth round. Now a member of the FAU Baseball Hall of Fame, two-time All-Star with the Cape Cod League. You've had quite a baseball life up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, baseball's kind of driven me. I've been able to do a lot in the game, and I've been in the game professionally since 1996. 25 years scouting after playing. So, yeah, I mean, you could say my life revolves around it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it. So let's go back to the beginning. Where did the love of baseball come from? Where did you first get involved?
I think my dad gave it to me originally when I was a kid in New Jersey. But and then when I came here in Florida, it kind of propelled to a whole different level. I was always a good player, but I never played that much, and I was probably more of a football player growing up. And then when I got down here, I got around some coaches like Bob Shaw and Craig Gibson and Joe Russo, Kevin O'Sullivan, Doug Ferguson, and it kind of just. And I'm leaving coaches out, but we one thing I've always had is great coaches, especially when I got down here. It was amazing in baseball.
And you mentioned that you also partake in football a little bit. You got sons that played all sorts of
Yeah.
sports and involved in sports. What kind of impact have you had in their lives, guiding them into sports? And how do you feel that they've progressed in their lives, and how do you think that's helped?
Yeah, my kids just had to play something. I didn't really care what it was, but I wanted them to find their passion in something. Literally, I've had two all-state linebackers, which is kind of crazy, but um, and uh, and another quarterback and another guy that's playing running back and linebacker at Cardinal Newman right now. But they just need to play something, and I think I'm a big believer in sports. Um, kind of chisels your way out, chisels your life, and gets you figuring out what you want to do, and then how to treat people. There's a lot of lessons that are along the lines, and I was big into the multiple sports. Different seasons you're playing different sports. You're moving around, and so I don't want them sitting at home and not doing anything or just concentrating on one sport. They all eventually they get to one sport, but you let them have some to figure it out first before they get in 12 years old and they're playing all year round. And the other sport they were going to be better at, when they got older. So that's kind of the way we always did it, you know, kind of pushing them to try everything.
Yeah, and you've been successful at that. Your kids have been successful at it. You're successful to the point that you remember the FAU Baseball Hall of Fame, 363 batting average in your time at FAU, and now with the SFCBL. Every year, it seems like majority of the teams have at least one, two members from the FAU current baseball team. So being so successful there, being your alma mater, how does it feel to you to see the success you had at FAU now translates to we get so many kids, so much talent coming over from FAU to be part of this league?
Yeah, it's kind of a no brainer for them to come over here and play in the league. And love to see those guys out there. It's really a benefit for them being right here in Boca, and they're able to see the league all summer also, which is great. Um, but some of the best players in this league came out of high school before they even went to FAU, and they really got their feet wet and they got their career started on the right way. Facing a little better competition, obviously, and then learn how to play every day or what they need to do to get ready to play. And so it's been beneficial for guys like Nolan Shanuel, Caleb Pendleton, guys like that. And but that's what we're here for, you know. That's what we're trying to do.
And I think one thing I actually failed to mention before we got started with this, or in the beginning of this, is you're also a current member of the Kansas City Royals as a scout.
Yes.
So what does your schedule look like throughout the year, dividing your time between being commissioner here in the SFCBL and then being on the road, being an active scout?
Yeah, I mean, the scouting thing is obviously number one. It comes first for me. I mean, it's it's I love the chase. I love the the everything about the business of scouting, meeting kids, changing kids' lives, giving them opportunity. Um, the commissioner role here is more of a it's not a day-to-day thing where I'm there with cell phones and stuff like that if anything ever comes up and they need to get in touch with me, but you guys run the league, you and Bill and the owners themselves, and I'm just there as a guiding force of what we want to do and kind of, you know, with the professional influence and stuff like that.
And so you say that most of your time is spent scouting.
Sure.
If you just had to give a rough estimate, how many games of baseball would you say you're watching a year? How many
A
cities are you
year.
traveling to?
But it's a lot. I mean, I don't even know. I would love. Someone did the mileage the other day over 25 years, and I thought that was funny because he said he was over 4 million miles traveled. But I don't know. I mean, it's you try to hit 2 games a day, and during the spring and the summer could be 3, 4 games a day. So and then in the fall, it's usually a tournament or you're sitting at, and there's countless number of games that you're popping in on. So I could never even put a number on it.
And in order to do that, you have to have a love for the game. Obviously,
Yeah,
you get paid, you're a professional, you're
yeah,
going to do your job, but
yeah,
to do this as long as you have to love the game.
yeah.
So how has your love for the game grown over the years, getting to see these kids, getting to have such an impact in boosting along their careers?
Yeah, it's just it's the love of the game. It's the opportunity. It's the giving kids opportunities to, change their lives, and that's kind of where it comes down to. I mean, I don't know if it's the love of the actual game itself. I mean, the game has changed, and it's more of the relationship business, coaches, players, and with the opportunity, you never know where it's going to come from every day. You don't know when you're going to see that kid. He's going to light you up, and it's like, man, he's got something. It's sometimes it's not always the guy throwing 95. It's just kind of the you get a feeling about a kid, and you're like, man, this kid does a lot of things. He hustles, backs up bases. He's got ability. He's got tools. He's got the body. Let's investigate this thing further, and that can happen at any time. And you just got to keep an open mind going to the yard. And the biggest thing about scouting is getting to the yard. I mean, getting to a field. That's what it's all about. It's I know I've had guys tell me in the past to go sit on the computer and do stuff, but it's the yard is where you're getting your information. It's where you have an ability to do damage, and make a difference. You
Yeah,
know,
and being there in person allows you to see things that you don't see on a computer. You don't
yeah,
see on a computer. You can see the numbers. You can say, okay, here a two-out situation, he was able to get an RBI. But
yeah,
what you don't see is when he walked to the dugout after a strikeout, how he
yeah,
handled that. And there's
yeah.
so many things that goes into making a top class player. So with your time being a scout,
Right.
you take us back with some of the best talent that comes to mind that you've been able to scout for whatever their tool was. Who
Right.
were they and what made them so great?
Well, there's a lot of them. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I've scouted that, recently. I mean, James Wood, right now with the Nationals. I mean, he lit you up, man, when you saw him. I mean, it was big. It was like this guy might be Dave Parker. The way he carried himself, he was a great kid. Sometimes guys could take it the wrong way that he wasn't playing hard or whatever, but it just came real easy to him. And then guys like Manny Machado, that we actually took in when I was in Baltimore, and he just lit you up with a tool. It was a tool set that was unbelievable. I mean, it was just like, wow, this guy's going to hit 30 home runs, and he's going to be, perennial All Star type of player. Um, and it was just the way he played the game. I mean, he got after it every situation. Um, when he was intent to do damage at the plate. Um, there's a ton of guys where it's like, you know, just you start thinking about first kid I ever signed was a kid named Chris Britton out of Plantation High School, and he just strike throwing, just relentless amount of strikes, and it's like wow, and then you go meet him, talk to him. He's serious. He wants to do this. Guys like Montana Durapow up there at Bethune-Cookman probably had the best numbers in the country. He was a 5'9" righty and threw 5 pitches for strikes and dominated. And um, I told them guys before we took him, I said he's got no interest in walking anybody. I mean, it was just like you could see it. But that's the kind of stuff, it just, you don't know what's going to bring it to you. You're not looking for something in particular. You know what you're looking for, and then it just happens.
So we talked about your time as a scout. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be year 3 for you as SFCBL commissioner.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So tell us a little bit about how that came to be, and where did the interest on your end come from, wanting to become commissioner of this league?
Well, I think they wanted a person in baseball that is from the area, and we did have my wife was the owner of the Ducks previously, and my kids helped run the team. My son was a general manager, and she owned the team. And then the kids do things, and they start leaving. They start spreading out, and so she wanted to sell it, so we sold it. We got Brad Pennington into the league, and then I was approached by Larry and Bill that they needed a commissioner, and I thought about it, and I said, yeah. I mean, how much does it entail? What do I have to do? Blah blah blah, and yeah, it was an easy fit. I mean, I'm here. I'm at the games anyway. When I'm home in the summer, I'm always at the fields, so it was an easy fit. What do I have to do? Well, you just have to give us ideas, and the board will run with it. Man, I was like, that's easy. Bring some more groups in. Bring the best baseball people around. They may want to do business with you. If you're going to be the commissioner, because they know it's going to be done the right way. Based on your reputation, you've been around, you know a lot of people, so it was an easy fit. It was an easy fit.
And since you've come on, what have been some of your biggest challenges that you've had to face for trying to move this league forward?
Not no real challenges. I want to continue to expand with baseball people. The first thing we did was we brought 4 groups in, and it was big. I mean, it was going to go get all the baseball people. Brooke Fordyce, George Perez down there at St. Thomas, Brooke at Kaiser. I mean, former major leaguer, was a no-brainer. And then we brought in the X team and the Hooks with Felipe Suarez, Brandon Cooney, who was a kid I had something to do with signing, and Joe Gemelli, who's the head coach at Jupiter High School. Those were like no-brainers. And I'm just telling you, the interest is out there. I get calls every day. People want to come in here. They want to be a part of it. They like what we're doing. And then the other thing was I wanted to get down to Miami. I wanted to get down in Dade County, where because it's South Florida Collegiate League. It's got to have Miami involved. Dade County has to be involved if it's called the South Florida Collegiate League. Now, if you want to call it the Palm Beach Broward Collegiate League, that's fine.
It doesn't have the same ring to it.
It doesn't, but it's South Florida is Dade County. So, so we got them involved. Now we got 2 teams down there, which is great. And you know what? There might be more here coming soon. So we'll see.
Okay, a little bit of something to come.
Yeah, there's some things happening. There's a lot. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of interest, and it's pretty amazing. Like the people that are reaching out to me. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
There's a lot of growth happening, and the talent level is getting better. I mean, last year was my first year with the league. Mm-hmm. Seeing these kids that are about to go into Vanderbilt, Kentucky, some of these top schools. This is genuine, really good baseball here. On top of it being a league where your main focus here is to obviously nurture these kids and advance them in their careers. But we're seeing a lot of talent come through here and some genuinely really entertaining baseball.
Absolutely. I mean, the best thing for a college kid to do, or a high school kid going to college, where we have an advantage over other leagues, where they get an opportunity to play in this league. each team could have up to 10 players going to a college program. And, the Vanderbilts, the Kentuckies, the FAUs, they want to, I mean, it's so smart to put these kids in this league. First of all, you see what you're getting. You have a little bit of a track history that they're able to develop in that first summer. You could find out a lot about them by just talking to a coach or the commissioner or whoever. Hey, how did this kid show up every day? What can I expect? And then they're facing better. If they're a hitter, they're facing better pitching than what they faced in high school. So it gives them a jump going into that first fall. The hardest thing for a freshman player is that first fall because their head's spinning. I mean, they're playing against some of these guys that are 23, 24 years old. They're going into, they've been in the SEC for 3 years, 4 years. And so it, 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 it just it just gives them a jump on the competition, and we're advancing their profiles right off the bat, and that's what it's all about. We are about giving opportunity to people, to kids, to players, not only players but coaches, broadcasters, people that want to be in the stat business. I mean, we're giving opportunity to everybody. That's what we're all about. That's what we need to be all about is opportunity. So that's what we're creating for everyone, and we want people to find their passion. If they want to be in the game, well, this is a good tryout for you. If you want to be in the game, if you want to advance forward and take the next step, whether it's college, high school, travel, whatever it is, major university, coaching, whatever they want to do, this is giving them an opportunity to do it.
And you see really across the business world, the businesses that thrive are full of people that are trying to better themselves. And in general, that means they oftentimes better the business they're working for because they're serious about their craft.
Yeah.
So with this summer league that we have here down here in South Florida, it's not a big window that you have these kids and you're trying to get them to be better from the day they walked in to the day they walked out. You hope they're better baseball players. You hope they're better young men. What is your message to these young men and these families coming in, knowing there's a short amount of time, but it's serious. It's serious to get this work done and get better. What is your message to them when they come in about what they can expect from this league?
The biggest thing again, I go back to this opportunity thing. I know it gets redundant, but it's all about the opportunity. I tell kids all the time, listen, you're good enough. You're going to play in this league and you dominate this league. I'll get you to Cape Cod. I'm not, we're not here at ownership of this league and that's it. We're there. We placed, I think, 3 players in Cape Cod last summer. We're all about advancing. We're here for resume building. Guys are going for jobs in professional baseball. Who do you think they're going to call first? They're going to call me, and I'm going to tell you what I got. And whether it's good or bad, I mean, we're gonna have a track on him. We got it. Hey, this guy was great. He was there every day for batting practice, and he worked. He gave the kids opportunity. This kid went from this to this. This is the stuff we're trying to. We're not all about just our league. We're about the opportunity for the player, and we never know where the player is going to come from. And that's kind of what I tell families when they call me. I say, listen, that's great. I know your son's great, and everybody says they're this, and he's not playing because the coach don't like me. Well, let's see it, and then when it happens, I will take care of you going forward. I'll do whatever I can to get you to another league. We're not here, and we're not owning you for the next 3-4 years. We want you to continually play in better leagues and keep moving. So better opportunity, and that's what we're all about.
And surely, if that thought process and that business practice carries on, you're just going to elevate yourself by elevating others. You do good to others, people will generally do good to you. So that should ultimately result in the SFCBL just continuing to grow forward. So while the kids are here, I keep calling them kids. These are young men. These are adults. See, these are young men that are taking their lives serious. So when I say kids, I don't mean to put them down because, quite frankly, I'm a kid
Yeah,
too, so
yeah,
if I'm gonna use by those standards, but
yeah.
all these young men, all these young athletes are here. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. 36 games is what the schedule's officially set at. Teams have the ability to add games.
38 is the
38.
minimum. Yes.
Okay, 38 games. I was mistaken. 38 games for all the teams. They can add additional games that won't count against the record, but just to get their players reps. How did that number come to be? 38 for what you saw was best for this league.
Well, 38 is kind of a number we settled on. If it was me, it would be a lot higher, but that's the whole nother thing. But it's hard. It's hard to play all them games in that short amount of time. But we do have teams that are playing 45 to 50 games and stuff like that with non. I don't know what they call them, premier games or.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's all about for me. It's all about playing. We got to play. I mean, that's why the league's here. It's here to play because we're giving everybody opportunity. And if you just go back to that, that's what it's all about. We want guys to get innings, guys to get at bats, umpires to get a chance to thing, the scorekeepers, the people doing the games on TV or radio. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying coaches to coach. We want players to make adjustments. We want them to play, and that's what that was a good number. Kind of that's the minimum to get into the playoffs. So we all settled on that. You know.
And when a young man, when their family comes in, they look you in the eye, they shake your hand. What type of relationship are they going to be getting from you as both a commissioner and as a man to help them in their careers? What type of impact are you looking to have on these young men?
Well, it's whatever the player wants to put into it. I mean, it really is. I'm here for them. A lot of times it'll be, later in the course of things where they'll say, "Hey, man, you really helped me out when you told me this," and I'm like, "Wow, I don't even remember saying that to you." But it's whatever they want to put into it. If they want to put it, like we have Joe Gray here as the pitching guy of around the league, and he worked with some guys last year, 8 or 10 guys, and that gravitated towards him and said, "Hey, I want to get better at this. I want to improve my pickoff move. I want to improve throwing strikes. Whatever it is, the player's gonna whatever the player wants, he's going to get. But if they walk the other way when they see you coming, and then they say, I played in your league 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh, okay, So it's whatever they're putting into it. I try to give every team a message of how to play the game. We're playing at one speed. We're going. We're playing the game the right way. We're doing the right things. Everything will work out. Develop a routine. And it's like at the end of the summer they figure out, oh, that's what he was talking about. So I talked to a couple kids at the end of the year last year about that. Like, yeah, man, that's baseball routine. That's baseball. Get yourself in a routine, figure it out, play the game. What do you do after the game? What do you do before the game to get ready to play? So
So something you hit on before was just the name of the league, South Florida Collegiate Baseball League.
yeah,
And something that I've seen personally is how involved the league is within the community.
yeah,
A couple months ago, hosted a youth camp.
yeah,
Each of the teams hosts a different type of community night, most of the teams throughout
yeah.
the year. How important is it for the league to get involved in the community like that?
It's very important. I mean, because that's number one. That's where your players, for the most part, are coming from. They're the guys that are coming up through the league. You want a kid to say, "Man, I'd really like to play in that league one day, or have the opportunity to play in that league one day." And how do I do it? But also getting in the community, getting in some of these, getting these people out to the games, giving them something to do at whether it's night or during the day, is a great opportunity for everybody. We don't charge admission for the games, except for places where we have to pay for the facility for certain games, All Star game or a opening weekend, but the games are free. We should have people at the give them opportunity, bring the kids out, man. Watch what these guys are doing, what you want to do. If you're a kid if you're literally a kid and you want to play in this league and you're 15 years old and you're a sophomore in high school, may want to come out to a few games and see what I really want to do this, because that's the realization when we get into college. It was like, oh man, I had no idea that this was. I thought it was just like, no, it's every day, it's all day. You know, that's what all these sports have become. It's all day, every day, if you want to do this at the college level or the professional level. Forget it. You know, so get in the community, um, show the kids that there are guys out here that are doing exactly what you want to do. Why don't you get ahead of everybody and figure out if you want to do it? And that's the easy way to do it.
Absolutely. And thank you again for your time here today as
Yeah,
we close out. You mentioned it, opening day,
yeah,
right around the corner.
it's amazing.
All this talk, all this preparation, finally able to see it come to fruition here on May 31st. How excited are you? How ready are you for the 2025 season to get underway?
Yeah, I mean, it's been always from that last uh, championship game. You're always like, oh man, the season's so far away, but it's really right around the corner. And we're going to see what everybody's done to prepare and see where they're at with the rosters. And that's the best thing about this thing is you get that opening day and then you see the rosters and you're like the guys that actually showed up, and you're like you start putting faces to names and stuff like that, and it's really eye opening sometimes. Where you're like, wow, that guy's a lot bigger than I thought he was, or this guy's pretty good. What do we need to do to help this guy? And then you'll have certain people that'll be like, we need to do this, do this. I said, just let them play. Let them figure it out for a couple of weeks. Let them come to you, and you know, and it's a great time. I mean, the kids are excited. A lot of the kids, whether some of these kids they're all coming from different situations, and to meld all that into one is pretty good. Some kids haven't played. Some kids are coming out of high school. Some kids are, um, you know, all conference players that need to stay home or whatever, and it's pretty good to see. It's a great mix. But it's opportunity. It's opportunity to put up numbers, to start a track record, and because when they get into this, we're always going to ask, "Hey, where'd you play? Why didn't you play 2 years ago?" Well, I didn't want to play, or I was hurt, or you start fact finding some things, and when these kids are playing, it you got it. Let's say he was here, and right after high school, he played in this league. He got himself 100 at bats, and he didn't do too good, but he did great his freshman year. Or he did real good. He didn't play his freshman year. So you got track record of you're building your history, is what you're doing. And but yeah, I mean, I can't. I always played in the summer. Every year I played somewhere, and it was great. Meet your new teammates, meet the coaches. I mean, it's a great time of the year. And then when you're 0 for 20, it stinks, but it gets better. It can only get better from there, right?
Absolutely. With the application, anything can be
That's
done.
right.
Well, Commissioner, thank you very much for joining us here
Uh,
today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are right around the corner. Opening
yeah.
day, May 31st, Santa Lucis High School. We will see you guys there. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. Nick, thank you very much for
Thank you,
joining
Jake.
us. Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, buddy.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care. We'll see you May 31st.